Education and Research Center.
Oh, that?
Okay.
Yeah. So I also forward this to. But I never.
What about the smoke part which I was talking about? The chimneys,
There are
they release
industry,
water.
but I don't exactly know what it is.
Uh-huh.
But there is one.
Because I saw some black smoke also coming and white also. I don't know what is it all. What are these tanks sort of?
They're not tanks. They're
Huh.
buildings.
The buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like water tanks.
Yes. Which is glass outside, so it looks like a little bit different. And there's a
Okay.
hotel,
Yeah, yeah.
And after you go out,
Huh.
that's
What's the name you said?
who's Betty.
Betty. Okay. I think Betty may be able to tell us.
Yes. And there is
About
a
this.
Colosseum here.
Okay.
Master Colosseum, which is big
What is that?
field for basketball and all.
Okay. Okay.
Stadium बोलते हैं ना अपने?
हाँ हाँ अच्छा These are native plants.
Oh, this is.
Invasive species. Oh, where is this? That's why she was saying. See, there also some boards are put. They are also informative. I think she's going to take us there.
No, after she
What is that?
go there.
We're gonna go there. This is some native.
Yeah, here down also. Thank you, Professor.
This is a subsection. You have one environmental chemistry course at
Oh, really? Yes, I mean, yeah, I'm interested in
Yeah,
that.
so I don't remember. Last year I sent it to you.
Artistic manager was great manager. And then we'll take a walk through, and I'll ask Rocky to keep track of our time, so that we are sure to get back on time.
3:15.
Because we could stay out here for hours and hours and hours. First thing I want to point out is that nothing you look at here is not recycled. Everything has been recycled. This building, and now that you know that, if you look at the walls, we've covered most of it. If you look at the raw walls, you see those triangulations, you see those bends in the wall over there on the left. That's because what you're looking at are shipping containers.
What to
These
say?
are used shipping containers, and there's one, I mean, we didn't design this, but an architect did. I think they did a great job, because they took 4 shipping containers of different lengths and put them together in such a way that they're very, very useful. So if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 in the back, there's a 4th one in the back. And they cut it, so that there'd be windows. They also realized that this was gonna be for education, for guys like you, and for grammar school students and so forth. And so they made this huge space over here. But if you come here when the weather is good, these are like garage doors, and you can lift the garage doors, and you're sitting on the plane. And it's very, very pleasant. It's quiet. The wind comes through, it's like you see a sea of grass. Very, very cool. So, how does this work? The other part is we're totally off the grid, which means all of the water we use, all of the electricity that we use is generated by the sun or by the wind or whatever. The electricity that we use comes from solar panels, which I think you may be able to see them. Yeah, actually, you know, we'll walk around the building and I'll show it to you. But there's a whole bank of solar panels that supply the building. Do you guys have a question? There's plenty for the warm weather. We get electricity from it, we get the internet, but there's not enough for it right now, which is too bad, because it's really great in the winter. But we don't just have the capacity. But it's plenty for other times of the year. The water we use comes from this green roof, which I'll show you. This is the underside, but you can see this is also, you see how this is bent? That's also from used shipping containers. Yeah. And I'll show you how we get the water. Okay. The porch in the front, that's used plastic bottles. So the whole thing is really as green as you can get. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the inside before we want to show you around the outside and get a better idea? Yes, this is, you may want to take a peek in here. This pile of stuff, those are the batteries. So what has to happen is the solar panels generate the electricity, but in order for it to be useful, you have to store it until you need it. And so there's this great big pile of batteries. And that's actually the limiting factor. I honestly don't think it's the amount of solar energy that we're capturing so much as the amount that we can hold on to until we need it. And, you know, yeah, what's the formula? I honestly can't tell you specifically. All I know is that it's probably polypropylene.
Patty, I had a question. How did this building this was built and how it started? It's like, what's the history behind it?
Could we wait until we go back to the...
Sure.
And what we've done is we've planted representatives of all the most of the native species here. And so, and we've labeled them. So you don't see them now, you see the dead parts. But during the summer, it's really very pretty. But I want to show you one plant.
Those prickly pears? Say that's okay, I see. Yeah. So it's just introduced?
Right? Alien is from other places, yeah. But this is actually a native, which is crazy. And I gotta say, it shrivels up in the winter.
It's growing itself here?
This is prickly pear.
Okay.
It shrivels up in the winter. In the summer, it fluffs up, it fills up, and it has these gorgeous yellow flowers. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I get your point because I put in just a couple of heads a couple of years ago, and it extends all the way over here now.
I know in some areas.
Guys, watch out.
Yeah.
There is a big thorn. Watch out.
You okay?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely okay. Don't worry. Thank you.
I don't know exactly, but just be careful. I guess. Probably not.
I want you to come. I'm sorry?
Are we allowed to go up there?
I don't have the key for this one. If I did, I would let you go, because you are allowed. You know, come anytime when it's officially open, right? So I wanted to show you the roof, which is really very, very neat. It's a green roof, all right? And what it is you see there are things growing up on it. It's primarily soil and native plants. But there are also pipes running underneath that catch the rainwater.
So it's something like the auto.
That's right. The water that we use comes along the pipe. And it's
That's what it
gathered
is getting
in
it.
this
Okay.
system. Unfortunately, the pipe is gone. I don't know what happened to the
Okay.
pipe.
Oh.
But there,
I assume it would connect to that.
that's exactly it. So the pipe comes around. I guess it's under
Yeah.
That's right. So this is the cistern that we used to flush the toilets. This is the water I use to water my plants. And yeah.
So this is needed connected?
Absolutely. And I don't know off the top of my head, but there is a weight limit.
We had a good question. They wanted to know what happens to the waste after it goes in the toilet. Does it go to?
Oh, it's a good question. This is a decomposing toilet. In other words, it's set up so that there's no pipes carrying. It doesn't go to the sewer. It stays right here, and it's supposed to decompose.
You kind of fertilizer?
No, it decomposes, carbon dioxide will come up.
Oh, decompose out like that.
It starts to be. I mean, as a practical matter, we do have to have people come and take some.
Just like cesspool.
Exactly. But it's not deep.
Yeah.
No, it's just very, very shallow.
Yeah.
We used to have that in like villages in India. Solar panels.
Yeah.
So I want to show you the extent of the place. It's really not over. It's only 17. Every time I mention. And what you see here is it's the two of those big trees in the back, and of course the fence on the left, and the fence behind us, and the fence here on the right. And what I also want to show you right here is this is as close as we're going to get to what the Hempstead Plains originally looked like. And we worked very, very hard to keep it that way, because the minute we stop, it looks like what's across the street here.
Yes, yes.
You see?
Charles Lindbergh.
So,
Professor, what kind of bird is that?
oh,
Oh, shoot.
that's a seagull.
It's a gull.
That's a gull.
It's a gull.
It's a gull.
That's a gull.
It's a plain old gull.
Yeah.
It looks
Flipped over like that.
Yeah, and there's a bunch.
Here? What's that? Horse racing.
Oh my gosh.
The shadow is coming.
That's cute. 400 years.
Whatever. Like, I see you go like to the right and to the left. You fucking
Cooper's Hawk flying over there. See the siphoner with the long tail?
What's that?
The Cooper's Hawk. A Cooper's Hawk.
First guy I've seen to do that, right? Proceeds to get behind me and see that.
you know, there's, what is it called? The general feeling. There's a word for that.
Birding by impression.
They call it. There's a very cute word for it.
Okay.
Chisholm, is that it?
Yeah, that's what I said, like the gist of it, or
I think it's smaller.
It's 3:10 right now. I'm just giving the time. I'm your timekeeper. 3:10.
What is that building?
Police Academy.
Oh, is it?
That's a brand new building like last year. Guys!
All right, guys, we gotta head back to the time limit.
Not take the, yeah. Yesterday we were inside this because we saw that hybrid.
Yeah, because yesterday I have.
Oh, you were not there.
No, I was. Yeah, I was. I don't have class in the morning. I was on Zoom yesterday. Then you guys have the site visit.
Yeah.
I just get off the room. I drive here. While you guys are doing the site visit, I was driving. Then I came here. Remember, I went to your talk for the around
Yes,
4
yes.
o'clock. I was there.
So how did you like my talk?
Nice. You really,
What do you
give a
feel
lot of-
students will be?
Huh?
A student got help from that, or what do you feel?
Here, students, I don't know, community college students sometimes, they don't take this college as a home. I think that's the one problem with community college students,
Oh,
right? We try to encourage students, do things and motivate them, but we just maybe need to try much harder than regular college, right?
but why do you feel that they don't have that feeling?
What feeling?
Like home-like feeling, or they are not completely attached? Or,
But a lot of students here, I believe that they want to basically only take a credit, take the course,
Oh.
then move on to different places.
okay,
Yeah. Some portion they're gonna take an associate degree with us.
just a minute.
A lot of them they're gonna go move to different institutions.
So that's the reason that they are not much serious, you feel?
So that's why we need to have something like this interesting as this side visit. This
Right,
maybe
yeah.
gonna.
And mainly, as I said, more of an exchange program,
Yeah, exchange
international
program,
exposures.
This may excite
Yeah,
them. So
yes.
you regularly, sit in the classroom. Sometimes you got even professors.
I am really thrilled about the 3 raptors we saw. I think I congratulate you and the professor on recognizing them.
Oh, really? I've never seen a real one.
See that? It's when I was thinking about it on the way back, and I am sure the reason for it is because it's the Hempstead Plains. These are all
Yeah, from a coyote. There's also a picture of
actually
Dome.
that's a little surprising because I didn't know that they'd come this far, the coyotes. I know that
It's probably a single individual though. But there is like other evidence that it was in the area besides just the dome.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially go over some of the stuff I already told you, but sort of in more detail and put it into context. And if you have questions, just interrupt. And if you have a class, of course, you can leave. We'll just be here as long as we feel like it. Okay? So, the first thing that you should know is that Long Island in general was formed by glacial outwash. In other words, 10,000 years ago, a glacier, an ice sheet that was as tall, it's unbelievable, it was as tall as the Empire State Building, came from the north and wound up right on the moraine. And so moraine is the place where it ends, and it's on Long Island, it's about halfway between the north and the south, running all the way from Queens all the way to Montauk. And then 10,000 years ago, it started to get warmer again, and the ice cap, it's not an ice cap, but the ice started to melt, and as it melted, out came all the debris that it had picked up as it was coming south. And the debris washed out towards the ocean. And the Hempstead Plains is composed of that soil. So it's really not very rich. It's sandy, and it's, tiny, tiny little rocks. And the important thing about all that for us is that since it's so sandy, it's porous. And when it rains, the rain goes right through. Goes right through down to the aquifers. That means that although there's plenty of rain, there's not a whole lot of water in the soil. And what happens then is it's not enough for native trees. You saw this, it's enough for the, invasive species of trees, but really it's not enough for our native trees. It is, however, enough for our native grasses, and so that's why we have a grasslands. And so in this will be nice because you're going to see some pictures of what the plains looks like in better weather. And here we are. This is the, here we go. So here's where we are on Long Island. This is the college and what's left of the player and endangered species. And especially plants, because it's a very specialized habitat. And the nice thing about that is if you have specialized plants, then you're going to have specialized animals who rely on these special plants. So if you come here, especially in June, the place is full of butterflies, and different ones, Again, I'm not a butterfly person, except that I like them. But we have people coming from all over to the plains to look at them in June. And here's some of the native plants. This is called bird's foot violet. So the Hempstead plains, now, when we say Hempstead plains, I'm really talking about the areas of the island that have this special porous soil. It used to extend all the way from about the Queens boundary to the Suffolk boundary. It was about somewhere between 40 and 60,000 acres. It was big, it was a lot. And this is what it looked like in 1909. No trees, okay? And just a lot of, this is probably flea bane, it looks to me, I don't know, but it's too bad we don't have color. Just recently, in the summer. A little information about how it was used. In pre-colonial times, let me back up a minute. Not only is the soil suitable for grasses, it's also perfect for grazing. You don't have to do anything. If you're raising cows, if you're raising goats, sheep, just turn them loose. And the Native Americans knew that too. They didn't, I don't think, had the same kinds of farm animals, but there were other grazers like deer and so forth that they wanted to encourage. And they kept that area grasslands by periodic burning. They burnt it. Same thing. And they primarily on Long Island raised sheep. And everybody, it was interesting, everybody raised sheep and they marked their individual sheep, who belongs to what, and the whole summer they left them on the plains to do whatever they wanted to do. And then in the fall, they would separate them out. But it was easy, you didn't have to do anything. Well, this broad, flat plain soon became important to the military. And the first use of it for the military was in the Spanish-American War for training soldiers. And then, at the beginning of when airplanes were invented, it was perfect for taking off and landing. Again, it's a flat plane, no problem. In the beginning, about 1909, it was an oddity. Planes were an oddity. And they had shows on the planes, and people came around to see the airplanes flying and stuff, and fancy maneuvers. But it soon became more serious, and in 1915 or so, they started to use it for the military. Because in 1915 or so was World War I, and they were beginning to use airplanes in war. So it became a military airfield. A few years after that, it becomes Mitchell Air Force Base, and if you come back again, we'll take you over across the street to Preserve, and you'll see there are still there's asphalt strips there that the planes used to use to take off and land. It's still an airfield. And Charles Lindbergh took off from here, from Mitchell Field. The preserve itself, okay, that was, it has never, as far as I know, was never used for farming. It was used for the sheep and stuff. don't think it was used for farming. And it just happened to be here when they formed Nassau Community College and stayed here. And it was maintained for a while by the Nature Conservancy and the college. The college actually gave money, to preserve it. But then another organization, the Friends of the Hempstead Plains, was formed. And this is a 501c not-for-profit organization. Everybody is working for nothing. And they now manage it. And the Nature Conservancy just didn't have the ability to continue, and they took over it. So there are 3 parcels, really. The parcel we were on, those are the 19 acres that are on the college campus, and that's actively maintained. Okay, you have to work on that. If you cross the street, remember I showed you, I pointed out those trees across the street, and if you cross the street, there are 2 other parcels. One that is also maintained by the Friends, and then about 40 acres of big, it's a lot of land, that nobody does anything to. It's just not maintained. So here, this is an aerial view of where we were. This is the entire parcel on the college campus, and the center is about over here. And we walked, a little bit down, say about to over here. But there's a special spot over here that we didn't get there, we'll go another time, that has a very rare species that I wanted to show you. And so here's parcel A, this is the edge. And I guess the center would be about here. And then if you cross Charles Lindbergh Boulevard, here's Purcell Preserve that's maintained, and here's the preserve it's a lot of land. So here's some photographs of the parcel on the college. And so this one was probably in fall. A lot of work has been done on that parcel. It actually was chosen by an organization to pilot a series of regulations that would make someone eligible, or an area eligible, to be called CITES silver level place, basically to serve as a model for other institutions, organizations who also want to preserve some area. And it was awarded this not too long ago. So here's the Purcell, a lot of land here, also probably in the fall. And it's been maintained by the Friends, and this is what it looks like when you don't preserve it. Yeah.
If at any point the college would that affect the planes at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So here's where it's the college property, and everything on it really belongs to Nassau County.
Okay.
And it's Nassau County that signed off on preserving this.
So it's a pretty safe.
Safe as anything can be.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, you may be aware that they're talking about forming a hub in the right here, combining the college and Hofstra and the Marriott Hotel and a variety of other museums. And boy, are they looking at the Hempstead Plains. It's right there. So, but it'll be so far.
I just had one question. The area which you showed is as Hempstead Plain. Is that area is the same, or it became smaller over the period of time, is starting from 19th century?
Well, starting from 19th century, it became much, much smaller.
Okay.
And this is all that's left of those original 40 or 50,000 acres are these few acres that I just showed you.
Right.
And there's a couple of small places. There's this place, like for example, in Eisenhower Park, there's a spot, and I know a couple. There's a lot more plains in Suffolk. They have lots and lots.
Okay.
But in Nassau, so we have. This is something about Friends of Hempstead Plains. So it wants to protect the land. It wants to restore the habitat. So we manage the site, we provide education, conduct some research, and so we actually have a little bit of staff. The board of directors, there's about 8 folks who are on the board. Here's what, how mugwort,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad you guys came.
Thanks. Have a good one.
And, Chinese bush clover, those are the big. I guess, other Boy Scouts who wanted to become Eagle Scouts.
So in that sword box, throughout the year there is some kind of vegetation, or what kind of vegetation is grown in that?
There is some vegetation that survives the winter, but most of it is they're mostly perennials, so they're mostly grasses, but they lose, they die back. There are some that remain green. We have Atlantic white cedar is in there a little bit, and then we have invasive woodies that tend to be, but mostly, as you saw it, it's mostly pretty brown now. So, I don't know, should I continue or should we?
Whatever you want.
These are the administrative building here, Dean of Instruction, and even today Vice President was here. I could have meeting with them. Here we can see Academic Affairs, Rice Circle, this place is called, and this Academic Affairs, Dean of Arts, Humanities, Math, Science, Nursing. So these are the courses here. Here is the President's house, and these are the different administrative setup here. Different buildings has different activities. So this is now in the NASU. Today I completed my second OLF, and now I'm waiting for my Uber to come. So I'm done with you.